I think if you see people panicking, then instead of saying, oh man, my stock's gone down, there's a buying opportunity.
Many Tesla stock investors are worried. They are scared. They look at this and they don't like what they see. But let's listen to Elon Musk explain why Tesla is going to win and why it's eventually going to be an incredibly good investment. I believe Tesla stock will 10x before 2030. Not financial advice, of course.
Essentially amateur, like normal everyday people actually understand Tesla better than the analysts. I mean, you must see this as like years ago, we'd made less than 3,000 cars. And here we stand 10 years later, having made over 3 million.
And the growth that is completely exponential, like this, I believe that Elon Musk will at some point stand on stage and say that we have just delivered 30 million cars in total. You know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
This is one of the cleanest exponentials I've, it looks like one of those sort of, business plan presentation things that doesn't actually come true, but, you see it in the venture capital business plan situation. But it's actually true. That's the amazing part.
You know what's the next thing that is going to come true that everyone thinks is basically impossible, just like it is impossible to have this clean exponential chart of cumulative total deliveries? It's going to be full self-driving. Full self-driving, I believe, is going to be next very big thing for Tesla, and that one is also just a matter of time.
Interesting to look at the cumulative profitability since inception. And this approximately tracks to sort of mental pain, actually. This psychic damage. That green curve is approximately correct.
When I bought Tesla stock in 2019, early 2019, and I saw it drop 50%, it was not a great moment. For the first time before then, Tesla just became profitable. And to me at that point, I thought that Tesla will not go bankrupt, but there was a lot of pain that followed. And stock crashed 50%, which we now are seeing that again. Stock down about 50%. Except this time, the company is wildly profitable. It's all mostly just the macro environment and also, of course, Twitter. But all of that is just temporary noise, I personally believe.
And have positive retained earnings and be worth our salt, essentially. And that's a really big deal. It's very hard. So, I mean, this is a big deal, and I think it's going to go up from here.
Looking at this chart, really, it's not very difficult to figure out that earnings per share are going to keep going up. So, as long as that happens, long term, Tesla is looking extremely strong. I mean, Elon believes profits are going to basically keep going up long term in the future. I would trust his judgment.
You can see we obviously had some challenges there in 2017. And then, but since then, our free cash flow generation has been very good and trending upwards. And this is really before autonomy really kicks in. We have autonomy to some degree, but solving autonomy is will really be an amplification of free cash flow to a degree that is, you run the numbers and it's like, wow, can it really be that crazy? But it could be that crazy.
Here's just another drive with no takeovers, probably 30 minutes of driving, my guess is. This is a sped up version, so it doesn't say exactly how long this is, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, every quarter, I would say, the improvements are very significant. Maybe I should make another video showing you the differences between each version. That video, I think, is going to be coming out. And it's really quite impressive. A year ago, or not even a year ago, just the beginning of this year, it was absolutely terrible. And now you are looking at this is driving in the city. This is not exactly very easy driving, right? I mean, you have to stop and change lanes and maneuver within the city, and no takeovers throughout this whole drive. I would say it's pretty impressive already. And you know it's going to get better exponentially as it gets more data, and there are a lot more FSD beta testers. Right now, we just have over 100 beta testers. Imagine 100,000 beta testers. Imagine how much more data we will have, and we have 500,000, 1 million people on FSD beta. It's just going to get like, this is not exactly very easy. So many cars around too. And it works better, significantly, very noticeably every quarter. It's very noticeable if you watch any of those videos.
You know, when we started out here, obviously we were told electric cars were impossible, and even if you could make an electric car with a couple hundred miles range, then nobody would buy it anyway, because people just love gasoline cars. So, when we started out, it was dumb to start a car company, and then dumb squared to do an electric car company. And we were told, you're never going to make money, etc. And we didn't for a while, but now we have the highest operating margin in the whole industry. So.
And now it seems that no one wants to touch Tesla. Tesla stock is dropping. Today it reached a new one-year low. It is under $170 per share. Can you believe that? I think we will look back 10 years from now and think, how did people miss full self-driving, and how come everyone missed that? Obviously, Tesla is going to scale. They will eventually deliver 10 million, 15 million, 20 million vehicles per year. How was the mainstream so oblivious to this? How were institutional investors so oblivious to this? I think is what we will wonder later. It is so obvious that Tesla is clearly winning, and that is just going to accelerate, I believe. But Tesla is just a car company, right?
Exactly. Tesla is not just a car company. Tesla is many companies in one, and we're as much a software company as we are a hardware company. And that's really going to be obviously essential for the future. And software, both in the car and obviously with neural net training, but also software in the factory as well. So you can think of the factory as a giant cybernetic collective. So a factory is just an enormous cybernetic collective of humans and machines and software. And the better the software is, the better that cybernetic collective works. I don't think other OEMs think like that.
They certainly do not.
There's a lot of talk of competition among electric vehicles, but really, the electric vehicles are taking market share from gasoline cars. So, yeah.
This is what a lot of people are still so worried about. The real competition, it's not our EVs. For a long time, it's not going to be our EVs. It is still internal combustion engine cars, which when you compare that to EVs, as long as you can charge at home, it doesn't make much sense anymore to buy a gas-powered vehicle.
Yeah, so Model Y. You don't want, definitely don't want to count chickens until they're hatched, but I think we're tracking to have Model Y be the highest selling vehicle by revenue this year, and the highest by unit volume next year. So.
It's quite incredible that a luxury car can become the world's best-selling car of any kind, including an economy car. Just imagine. I know people are worried about Tesla's demand. Some of them are worried. Just imagine what's going to happen when Tesla actually releases an affordable economy car. Do you really think Tesla is going to have a demand problem then? how many units do you think Tesla will be able to sell of an economy car? Like, really think about that.
Still a lot of work to do. Like these factories don't just magically work. So still a lot of work to do in Berlin and here in Austin to spool up these 2 gigafactories. And we've got different supply chains, and so it's always, there's a host of problems. None of the problems are individually all that difficult, but there's like 10,000 of them. So the rate of production is like, how fast can you solve the 10,000 problems, essentially? And we're solving them pretty fast, but a lot of work to do. And yeah, we might be able to announce another factory location later this year.
You know, that's going to be another catalyst, man. Another gigafactory is going to be announced. And here's Elon Musk seen in Mexico. Maybe that's where we will have a gigafactory soon, perhaps. Canada is also seeming quite likely. End of the year is already coming, so we should know relatively soon.
10 or 12 gigafactories. And there will be really gigafactories, like output, aiming for average output of like 1.5 to 2 million units per factory, which is enormous. So
I've seen some speculation that suggested that Tesla would only have just like 5 factories or something like that, and that would be able to produce 20 million cars per year. Well, this is Elon Musk himself directly saying they will probably have about 10 to 12 factories. So I would dismiss anyone that says it would be less than 10 factories, if that is Tesla makes 20 million vehicles per year.
And our Fremont factory in California is already the highest output factory in North America. So
Tesla got that factory from GM and Toyota, which was a mess. And can you believe this? Now Elon took something that was a complete piece of not beauty. And now it's the biggest factory in US basically for cars, and it gets even better. The factory is still going to get even bigger. I mean, who else does this? Who else takes something that is on a verge of complete disaster, not useful anymore, and then turns it around? I'm talking about Twitter, by the way, not the factory, although it applies to both. So I'm not worried about Twitter like at all. I think Elon will take care of it, just like he turned this not beautiful factory into this beauty that we have today.
the mission of Tesla is to accelerate sustainability, and I think this is really amazing. More energy produced than was used in making the car and charging them over billions of miles. So, and we're going to keep obviously increasing our solar activity.
And it will just keep getting bigger and better over time. It's not really even starting to scale. It's just the very beginning of what's to come.
One of the things we've done is create the largest castings that have ever been done. And they're very complex castings. And so we're able to take 171 pieces of metal and go from 171 pieces to 2. And in the process, make it lighter, stiffer, with better ride handling, better noise, vibration, harshness, better sealing against water. So it's really better in every way. And yeah, so.
And by the way, only Model Ys made in Texas receive both the front and the rear casting. So there is still a lot of room for margins to improve, because everywhere else Model Ys only receive one casting. And no Model 3s receive any castings yet. So there is a lot of room for margins to still improve, and for the cars to also still improve at the same time. And here's one thing that not many people really consider. those that say, oh, there's a demand issue, demand is a problem. Okay, even if we say, let's say, super bad recession, depression, maybe even, there is a collapsing demand, and Tesla has to shut down production lines, for example, because maybe nobody's buying a car as well, because they don't have the gigacastings everywhere yet. Do you think they could just use this time to retool their factories and make sure that in all of their factories they are now using the gigacasting technology as well as the 4680 structural back technology? Do you think they could do that? Do you think it would really be that big of a downside above it that eventually you will have to do it? Eventually you will have to shut down those lines temporarily and take the hit. You just have to do it eventually. I have been in manufacturing before, and it sucks to have those days. No one looks forward to those, but eventually you have to do it. So if there is a bad moment for demand, you just upgrade all of the lines during these times, and guess what? You come out stronger and better with much higher margins, meaning you can either drop your price, or you can keep a price the same, maybe even, and make even bigger margins.
We've also improved the layout of the factory. So the factory is sort of a single, or close to a single monolithic factory with a very straightforward flow. Fremont, we do a lot in Fremont, but the flow is complex, and it's not an easy flow. So we're really rethinking the factory.
Did you know that Troy estimates that Tesla margins in US are about 40%, and that is achieved with that disaster of a factory that you just saw? The layout is nuts. It's not good at all. And yet Tesla is making money hand over fist in the US.
And I think if the really long-term sustainable advantage of Tesla will be manufacturing. I mentioned this before, but obviously everyone will have electric cars. All manufacturers will have electric cars, and eventually, it'll probably take longer than they think, but eventually all cars will be self-driving. And the thing that will be hardest to replicate is Tesla's manufacturing technology.
Aluminum needs to be injected into a die in about 1/10 of a blink of an eye through a single point of entry. Watch my eye. You would have made 10 castings. That's why no company can catch up with Tesla. It is so absurdly difficult. I mean, Sandy Munro has been talking about gigacastings for 15 years, but that's why no one has really done it, because they are so difficult. Only Tesla is really doing them.
When thinking about the competitiveness of companies, especially if the companies are technology companies, I recommend looking at where the smartest engineers want to work. This is wherever the smartest engineers want to work, that's going to be, that technology company is going to be the one that is likely to succeed. Just like if it's a pro sports team, where are the ace players going? Okay, probably that team will win. So we put a lot of effort into ensuring that the best engineers in the world want to work at Tesla. And frankly, sometimes Tesla's number one, sometimes SpaceX number one, but so this was just like last year.
And who is the world's single best engineer? I believe it's Elon Musk. And when you look at full self-driving, is it going to be made possible by someone who is the best or someone who is not? I believe it's going to be made possible first by someone who is the best. Hence, I am buying Tesla stock because Elon Musk is running Tesla.
We certainly will increase CapEx. I mean, we're actually spending we're spending CapEx money and R&D money as fast as we can do so without wasting it. So this is not a constraint. If we try to spend it any faster, we'd just be wasting money.
Translation, a buyback is coming.
I mean, assuming we get all these things, we do all these things, I think probably Tesla will be the most valuable company in the world.
I agree. I'm buying more Tesla stock. It's on sale right now. With Tesla stock being so cheap today, maybe even Warren Buffett is buying Tesla stock. Well, there are 10 reasons, more than 10 reasons that suggest that perhaps possibly Warren Buffett is buying Tesla stock. Watch it right now. And I will see you there. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And always do that in the beginning of a video. That really helps the YouTube algorithm. Please do that in the beginning of a video. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you here.